Hello, my dear listeners. Welcome back to Dear Listeners. Now, today's story is a little different. Not emotional in the usual way, not motivational either. Tonight's story has silence in it, rain in it, and a mystery that stayed with someone for years. So, if you're listening to this at night, maybe lower the lights a little and just listen carefully. A few years ago, there was a man named Vikram. Now, Vikram was not someone who believed in strange stories. He was practical, logical, the kind of person who laughed whenever people talked about ghosts or unexplained things. He worked in a private company in Delhi, long office hours, late night shifts sometimes, and because of that, he often returned home very late. One night, during the monsoon season, it started raining heavily while he was still in the office. Not normal rain, the kind of rain that makes the whole city feel different. By the time he left the office, it was already past 11:30. The roads looked empty, streetlights reflected on wet roads. Everything felt strangely quiet. Vikram checked his phone, low battery, just 3%. Perfect, he muttered to himself. Usually, he took a cab home, but because of the rain and late hour, nothing was available nearby. So, he decided to take the metro. By the time he reached the station, it was almost empty. Only a few people stood silently on the platform, nobody talking, nobody looking at each other. The last train arrived with a loud metallic sound. Its headlights cut through the rain outside, and honestly, something about that moment felt unsettling. Though Vikram couldn't explain why, still he entered the train. Inside, the coach was nearly empty. A young couple sat near the door. One man slept in the corner, and an old woman sat quietly near the window. Vikram chose a seat and plugged in his earphones, but strangely, he couldn't relax. Maybe it was the silence, maybe the rain, or maybe just exhaustion. After a few stations, the young couple got off. Then the sleeping man left too. Now only two people remained in the coach, Vikram and the old woman. She sat completely still near the window, wearing a faded grey shawl, looking outside into the darkness. The train moved forward through empty stations, and for some reason, Vikram kept noticing her. Not because she looked scary, no. Actually, she looked completely ordinary, and maybe that's what made it stranger. Suddenly, without turning toward him, the woman spoke softly. "You're returning late." Vikram looked up, slightly surprised. Then he smiled politely. "Yeah, office work." The woman nodded slowly, then silence again. A few seconds later, she asked, "You take this route every day?" Something about her voice felt unusual, very calm, very slow. "Mostly," Vikram replied. The woman looked outside again and said quietly, "Strange things happen on late night trains." Vikram almost smiled. He immediately assumed she was one of those people who loved strange stories. But before he could reply, the train lights flickered once, then again. Outside, thunder echoed loudly. For a moment, the coach became completely dark, just 2 seconds, maybe less, and when the lights returned, the woman was looking directly at him, not smiling, just staring. And for the first time that night, Vikram felt uncomfortable. Then she suddenly asked, "Do you know what happened at Rajiv Chowk station 5 years ago?" Vikram frowned. "No." The woman looked at her hands and said softly, "A man disappeared there." Now, honestly, Vikram was irritated more than scared. He thought she was simply trying to tell some creepy story. So he laughed lightly and said, "People disappear every day in big cities." But the woman didn't laugh. Instead, she whispered, "Yes, but not like this." The train entered another dark tunnel. Rain hit the windows loudly, and suddenly Vikram noticed something strange. The woman's reflection wasn't visible clearly in the glass window beside her. At first, he thought it was because of the rain, but then he looked carefully again. His own reflection was visible. The seats were visible. The lights were visible. But hers looked faded, almost missing. A cold feeling ran through his body. He quickly looked away and told himself, "You're overthinking." The next station announcement echoed through the coach. Next station, Rajiv Chowk. The woman slowly stood up. For the first time, Vikram noticed how strangely silent her movements were. No sound, no footsteps, nothing. As the train slowed down, she looked at him once more and said, "Some people never reach home." The doors opened, and she stepped out into the empty station. Vikram immediately looked back at his phone, trying to distract himself. His heartbeat felt unusually fast now. A few seconds later, something made him look toward the platform again. The woman was gone, not walking away, not near the stairs, gone. And the strange thing was, the platform outside looked completely empty. The doors closed, the train moved again. That night, Vikram barely slept. The next morning, while drinking tea at work, he casually mentioned the strange woman to one of his older colleagues. And suddenly, the colleague became quiet. Then he asked, "What did she look like?" Vikram described her: grey shawl, calm voice, old woman. The colleague stared at him for a few seconds and then said softly, "5 years ago, there was an accident at Rajiv Chowk station during heavy rain." Vikram laughed nervously. "Okay, and?" The colleague replied quietly, "An old woman died there that night." And then he added something that made Vikram's stomach turn cold. People who work late sometimes say they still see her on the last train during rainy nights. After that, Vikram never took the last metro again. And honestly, even now, whenever it rains heavily at night, he remembers that voice. Some people never reach home. Now tell me, dear listeners, do you enjoy mysterious stories like this? Have you ever experienced something you still can't explain? And would you take the last train alone after hearing this story? If you want more mysterious late night stories, just write "more mysteries." And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dear Listeners. I'll meet you again with another story. Till then, if someone talks to you on the last train at night, maybe don't look into the window too carefully.